Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Quick Expert Reviews. Today we've got the Sony Xperia L2. Now I know the phone was released in like January, or at least announced in January. No, it actually was released in January as well this year, but yeah, I couldn't get my hands on it earlier, or actually it wasn't released by now in UK. So yeah, we're gonna start with the standard unboxing at the very beginning of the video, as usual. A quick start guide explaining where everything goes, how everything fits in the phone, where to plug in the charger, a Type-C charger, which is interesting and always nice, especially in entry-level handsets. Yeah, that was a warranty information. Then we've got the headphones and we've got the cable as well. Now, in terms of headphones, they are in-ear headphones. In terms of quality, well, they are not the best, but they do their job really well. Obviously, if you'd like to, you can answer phone calls with them as well. So they do have a built-in microphone, so it's not like, you know, they are completely useless. But if you're an audiophile or you enjoy listening to music, I would highly recommend using your own preferred headphones. Now, the L2 is obviously replacing the L1, which I've got as well with me. Now this one has a fingerprint sensor, 13 megapixel camera on the back. It does have a headphone jack, which is always a nice addition. And then the SIM tray and memory card tray, well, not a tray, but a slot on the side. So yeah, the phone takes up to 256 gigs of internal storage, which is nice. And then we've got literally nothing, bottom firing speaker and a Type-C port. There is no dedicated camera button either, as it usually is the case with the Sony handsets. So yeah. So here I've got the Xperia L1 as well, just to compare the size of the handset. Obviously you can see the bezel itself the bezels are narrower. The phone isn't that much different. For example, it weighs 2 grams less, 178 grams, but to be honest, in terms of holding the phone, it's actually more comfortable to hold it rather than the L1, which I really liked myself, so hopefully the L2 won't disappoint either. The main differences are the internal storage, which is now 32 gigs and 3 gigabytes of RAM as opposed to 2 gigs and 16. And obviously the screen stays the same at 720p, which is HD ready, and 5.5 inch. Now the phone, weirdly enough, knowing that there is Android Nugget now released, runs on Android 7.1.1, which is a bit of a disappointment, to be honest, really, because Sony is pretty much up to date with software updates. The XZ3 was the first flagship device, or any device actually, running Nugget apart from Pixel. And yeah, it's a very weird omission or a decision, to be honest. However, it is up to date in terms of security patches, so it's September 2018, so the latest one possible. Now the phone itself also has a built-in Xperia Transferal tool. It's got an Xperia Assist, which basically allows any Xperia actions, which, for example, if you set for good night, you set up what time you want to do the good night assist action, and it turns out all the notifications off. On top of that, it can do like a gaming mode, so you don't get interrupted and all the kind of juice goes into the gaming and so on. So now the phone does have exactly the same processor as the L1, which was like a MediaTek MT6737T one. Nothing really important. It's just slightly faster with 1.5 gigahertz as opposed to 1.45 on the L1. However, obviously you get 3 gigabytes of RAM on the L2, so that's a nice, very nice addition to the last year's model. In terms of Lockscreen and Security, like I've mentioned at the beginning of the video, you've got the fingerprint sensor, so that's good. That's additional layer of security and obviously an ease of use, so you don't have to type in the passcode or the pattern every single time. The screen itself is also Corning Gorilla Glass 4, which means that it is less prone to scratches than the L1. I'm saying less prone. It's definitely not shatterproof and it's definitely not scratch proof. I've been able to scratch Gorilla Glass whichever on any phone I ever had, So it's not like it won't have any scratches, but you're less likely to have the screen scratched as opposed to the L1. Now, as you can see, the other sounds, that was the Clear Audio Plus, which kind of enhances the audio. It tries to find the perfect balance between treble and bass sounds. However, obviously, if you'd like to get a built-in equalizer, which isn't really standard nowadays, so it's always nice that on a phone priced around £149, if the Sony official website is to be believed, the handset comes actually pretty much feature rich. Now, it's not like a Xiaomi or I don't know, Huawei phone, which kind of they usually get they are usually packed with loads of features, but it is working really well on this handset, and obviously the branding itself, the Sony branding, helps a lot. In terms of wireless and networks, nothing much really. You can cast to a compatible screen if you'd like to. But yeah, that's about it. The phone does come with a built-in FM radio, which is interesting as opposed to my XZ3, for example. And the camera is a bit, the camera has been a bit revamped, so it's still 13 megapixels. However, the aperture is 2.0 as opposed to 2.2. With the last year model, which means the camera captures more light in low light conditions. 2.0 is also on the XZ3, so you know it's pretty decent. It's the photo quality, the pictures are at the very end of the video as usual. It does its job pretty well, I would say, even in low light conditions. You can record videos in 1080p at 30 frames per second as well. There is no slow-mo or anything like that. There is no 4K, but it works. And if it works, it's decent. So, you know, it's a phone that's priced at 150 quid without a pound, and it does its job really well. Now, the front-facing camera is 8 megapixels this time as opposed to 5, and it also is a wide selfie camera, which means it can capture more people in a photo, like for example the Google Pixel 3 now, which has been advertised like it's a second coming, it's a new thing, and you know the wide selfie cameras have been out in the market for quite a while now, but yeah, it does its job pretty well. So overall, I would say a pretty decent device, especially considering the price itself. The battery itself is obviously bigger as well as opposed to the L1. You've got 33 milliampere hour battery as opposed to 2620, so it actually does last a day and a half of normal usage. So yeah, overall, thanks for watching another episode of Quick Expertise. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and let me know if you're gonna buy the phone itself, or if you'd like me to do anything with the handset itself, maybe a gaming video or something. So yeah, take care guys, bye.